Our best intention is that as you listen to this recording, you will allow yourself to rest and relax into guided hypnosis. As you and I together can positively reprogram your subconscious mind. And so, my wish is for you to become as happy as you dare to imagine. Welcome to the Wildseed Podcast.
This is your space captain speaking. Just a reminder to pack some teeny tiny snacks and maybe a silly little hat. Cause we're about to take a trip to the tippy top tip where the wild seeds grow.
How is it that when I listen to this song, I feel like the feeling when I'm in love? Just hearing the song, it just kind of brings me back to that feeling, and it feels like I'm there, and it captures it. It's the magic of music and sound, putting words and the voice, the singing, the instruments, everything. It just really captures it, and that's magical.
And I think it's because we understand that when we create a beat, when we create a melody, there's so much intention that goes into it. And the feelings within a song are kept in its purest form because it's not watered down by a language that is made up by all these words that have, very limiting meanings. And it's also because music is vibration. It's made up of sound waves, and these sound waves are vibrating on a certain frequency. But all matter is made of vibration. So if we're made of the same stuff as music, then it's pretty much just a transmission of vibration from one thing to another. And I think that's why it's so easy for us to be transported into the same emotions that were put into the song. Because whether or not we understand what the words mean, and we might not even understand the language it's sung in, we can really understand the feeling because we feel the vibration that was put into it. Because if everything is made of vibration, then emotions also have a certain frequency of vibration, and that's what we're resonating with.
Yeah, and we are vibration too, so it syncs up with the vibrations that we are emitting as well, and that we are just period are.
I
It's
believe that in everything really, like not only music, that because we are all vibration and everything has a certain vibrational frequency, that whatever we do, energy is transferred to that, and it will be transferred to the one receiving it also. So I even believe it in the way, like with my food. I have a new practice now of sitting with my food, making sure that I'm super conscious of every little ingredient within my plate because I want to be aware of it as much as whoever made it, or wherever whatever source it came from, and just to be able to recognize my gratitude for it. And I feel like that vibration that I put into my intention for the food goes back into my body. So it's super important that I can put that out because I'm going to consume it and put it back in my body.
yeah,
So
for sure. Yeah, it becomes us, you know.
also, I've been busy in my garden recently in the past few months, and it's
How are the
brought
plants
me
doing?
my, my little plant cult. It makes me so happy to see them thrive. I got them all pretty small, and in the last 2 months, I've been able to grow them at least to the size of my head or even bigger. And now I can see it in their posture, in the way that they're just angled straight up, that they're happy, and that makes me happy too. And it's interesting because I just listened to a podcast recently with this guy named Joe Patitucci, and he started this company called Plant Wave. And what they do is they translate plant biodata into music. So you can actually hear your plants singing back to you.
That's great.
Because as you know, I like singing to my plants every day. I feel like it makes a difference. I like singing the songs that I've written for them because there's so much positive emotion that I put into my songs, and I want to give that to them too. It's like energetic plant fertilizer.
Yeah, and it's also because your songs are usually about nature and just good
Yeah.
energy and
Yeah, and speaking of receiving energy, do you know how plants find their water source?
no,
The
tell me.
the roots of plants actually find water by feeling the vibration that the water source emits. It's not feeling it out. They're able to understand sound and vibrational frequency. And so he expounds on that and mentions that everything really has a certain frequency. Human beings, our bodies have a certain frequency. So does the sun, so does the water, so do plants. And so we're all just responding to that within our environment. And that just proves that we're all made of the same stuff, you know?
Yeah, it's
And
amazing.
it's really amazing. And the amazing thing about his process is that the way he's able to make plant music is that he connects these electrodes to the plants and it detects the water levels in the plants and also the speed of change within the plant or within the plant's environment. And this data is then translated into graphic waves, and each wave is assigned a certain musical tone. So when you put that together, it makes a certain harmony. And here's an example of one of the songs that Joe and a friend recorded while on a trip through South America.
Wow, Mikey, that sound, the music was just amazing. It's otherworldly. It's like outer space and inner earth at the same time. Wow.
Can you imagine that plant then singing to you or performing that to you if you could actually hear them sing all the time? Oh,
Wow, yeah. Imagine like the music that will be all around us all the time. Wow. What would your plant band be called?
I don't think we would be a band. I feel like we would be an orchestra.
Oh, wow. Oh, speaking of orchestra, so I have a friend who has who he gets seizures, and he was telling me that there have been studies, and I actually like read up about it, that if you listen to one of Mozart's compositions, it's the Sonata for Two Pianos, I think. It
Okay.
helps people with seizures. It helps them reduce, yeah, the seizures that occur. There's something about the frequency of the song, the way that the composition is made, that it works with your brain and it keeps your brain calm and avoids the triggering of seizures. Isn't that amazing?
Wow. I wonder if Mozart knew that when he was creating the song.
Mozart's a genius, so possibly yes.
I would believe so. I mean, I'm sure he knew he was a healer somehow with the music that he created. I mean, until now, people are impacted by it in a very deep way.
Yeah, I actually really love classical music. It's one of my favorite genres.
I also agree. I really appreciate classical music because I think there's something in it that makes us resonate with it so deeply. Maybe it's because the music is so pure in form that maybe there's something about the composition and the melody and the instruments used that makes it feel so primal. It's as if to say, I have always known this melody, this song. And there's something so healing about that. And that also makes me think about your role as one who guides people through movement exercises. I mean, what do you think music's role or purpose is in helping people better themselves through a physical workout?
Yeah, I actually really became interested in becoming an instructor because of the music element of the exercise. It wasn't because of the exercise itself. It was because we were writing to really great songs. It was just, especially the first time, being in this room with music blasting really loud with a beat that you can pedal to was just like, yeah, I want to do
Yeah.
this. And it's really like music is like 90% of that whole experience. If your music is something that really has a beat and pushes you, you barely have to actually give any instructions because people will already feel it and know what to do instinctively.
I guess in that way, you also see how music changes perception because if you play a certain song that has this energy, then everyone in the room feels it and they don't feel that whatever they're doing is as hard as it really is.
Yeah, it's very powerful actually. It's only yoga that I enjoy doing in silence more than with music. There are a lot of yoga classes that have music in the background, but I started practicing yoga in silence and really just focusing on my breath, and the breath was the music of the practice. And it helps me really feel centered, but otherwise, I really enjoy having music when I do something, when I move my body. Even if it's not exactly like heavy beats, or even if it's not following the beat exactly as it sounds, but having music with me really just, yeah, it just makes life so much more enjoyable. It's also participating in art, it's just in creation, and it's just nice. You dance while chopping or like writing something in your notebook, and you have this thing with you. You're not alone, and there's music playing, and it's just so nice. It's beautiful.
Music is the ultimate companion, and it acts as this magnetic force that connects us all together. And you're right, it's really that act of participation that really lets it work its magic. But also, it's when we can participate in this art form with other people that we really feel its expansiveness, that we feel our bonds strengthening. And it's this connection that allows us to soar to greater heights together.
Whenever I'm with a group of people, there's really an energy that's shared, and that really heightens the experience. Especially being in a concert or at a festival. Oh my gosh. I remember one of my best days of my life, best experiences of my life. Carly Rae Jepsen's concert last year was just like monumental, life changing. I just had the best time. I was just dancing like a maniac. I was with my friends who I love so much, and it's just a great experience. But yeah, I mean, I've been to festivals and concerts, and it depends on the situation. I remember there's this one night at Burning Man when we were at, I think it was Opulent Temple, and there's this huge cauldron with fire, and everyone was wearing their fur coats and just in their costumes. Like everyone's just really doing their thing, and the music was this like really deep, heavy beat, and I was just also not on this earth. Like the fire, the music, the outfit, like I was transported into another place. I still remember. I close my eyes right now, and I'm back there. I remember I was dancing with my
Ooh.
friends. Just amazing. So there, I mean, there's so many things that you experience, and everything. Each experience is so unique. The great thing about music is you can listen to a song again. You can have a different experience with it in a separate moment. You know, there are some songs that remind me of certain times in my life. There's certain songs that remind me of certain people in my life, and that's gonna be, it's stuck. I mean, they're fused together forever. There are many songs that I can't listen to anymore because sometimes it's just like, wow, this is a hard song to listen to. The connection between memory and music to me is so deep and strong.
Isn't it amazing how music, it's actually a vehicle. You can use it as a vehicle to time travel. I think it's because music is vibration and frequency, and so are your thoughts, so is consciousness. And so when these two vibrations merge together, it just becomes one, and that makes the memory whole. And when you listen back to that song, it can take you straight back into that moment. It's crazy. All your senses are heightened, and you feel like you're just back at, let's say, that temple in Burning Man, and you feel what the wind was like, and you remember what the smells were, and what everyone looked like, and maybe how dusty your legs were, you know.
The smell of unwashed human beings.
Such
But
fond memories.
no, really, the fondest memories, really. But yeah, no, absolutely. Like I was just transported when I was telling you that, and I didn't even describe it completely. But I mean, I was there.
Man, I
It's
love those
very
moments.
powerful.
I never really liked electronic music before, but when I was at Lighting in the Bottle, I decided to explore the Thunder stage, which is the bass stage. And man, that changed the way I experienced listening to music. Because that stage was just full of acts like Opio and Closey, who have music with like really heavy bass. And the stage was also equipped with these large amps all around. So you can really feel the bass creep in under your skin and into your bones and just kind of like fill your entire being. That you could really feel your whole body vibrating from the music. And I was like, whoa, what is that? Like, you're kind of like, at that point, I feel like you feel like you are the music.
Yeah, you become the music, and the music becomes you. You are
Yes.
one.
It was so magical.
Yeah. The transcendent power of music is something I think we can talk about for years and years and years and not stop.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know, a lot of the memories that you tell me that were like transcendent, I'll never forget. Because I really like the way you tell stories also. But I'll never forget the story you told me about you feeling like you were the music in a club. Can you tell us about
So
this
I
momentous occasion?
it was momentous, yeah. I so actually also like you, I didn't listen to a lot of really heavy electronic music before, and it's relatively new to me, but I adore it. And I don't know what it is about like really brutal techno that gets me so, yeah, there are times when I'm really sad or like just feeling blue, and then I just put on techno music and it totally lifts my mood, and I don't know what it
No way.
is. Yeah, it just kind of fixes whatever. It must be the vibration of the music, kind of putting everything back into balance. That must be
I
it.
believe that.
But so this was, I was at a club, and it was one of those really heavy, like underground techno DJs. And I was on that dance floor, and I was just kind of stomping my feet and just like all these movements that I do on the dance floor, they don't really make any sense when I put them in words. But they make perfect sense when I as I feel them and as I just move. And these movements are usually uncontrolled. They just happen.
Uh-huh.
So I was listening to this music, moving to this music, and in one moment I just, my human form dissolved, and I had become one with the music, and I had become the entire universe. And completely I felt the infiniteness of existence and the universe in that moment.
Ooh.
And then right after I was aware of that infiniteness, everything kind of just came back into itself, and I became like one speck, one like the tiniest thing you could ever imagine. What would that be? What's smaller than an
An
atom?
atom?
Smaller.
Uh,
The smallest particle you can ever study or imagine became
okay.
me. And then that particle started flowing through my veins, and I was that particle in my blood flowing into my heart, and then I felt my heart beating with me inside it.
Oh man.
And then
That
and then I opened my eyes and I was like, whoa. I actually saw the inside of my veins and the blood flowing in my veins and coming into my
crazy.
heart, and just, yeah, feeling that.
And I'm sure all of that happened in a split second, but it felt like
Yeah, I bet. But there was something about the music that really brought me there. There was something in that sound that took me on that exploration. It was really just something else. There's
mm,
nothing like it.
I feel you on that. But that, I mean, that is definitely transcendental and maybe an out of body experience. It's amazing. But to feel that infiniteness inside you and in the music and in the universe, wow, that's just multidimensional. I feel your joy and your infiniteness in that moment because you have also guided me through an experience like that. I think you were one of the first people to really expose me to electronic music in a different way. Because I always connected it to just techno, you know? But then one day you introduced me to Oliver Koletsky, and that changed my life.
He does like
Man,
melodic techno. Yeah, that's his, I think, his genre, but it's not like the crazy, like really insane.
we were in Zambales on the beach, kind of in the middle of a jungle. We stayed in a little hut in the middle of the jungle for my birthday. And that's all I wanted to do, you know. I just wanted to surf. I wanted to be with a couple friends and be in nature. And nighttime came. You brought a little tiny little speaker that was actually super powerful. And you played this like I don't know, was it like a 2 hour set of Oliver Koletsky, something like that?
Yeah.
And that just Moo, I felt the same way you did in that techno club. I was transported into like many different dimensions, and I was like, what is this music? I love it so much. So we actually ended up playing that same set maybe 10 times that night.
That's true.
That was the very first moment we ecstatic danced together.
That's true. It's true.
We were just feeling the music and moving to however way we wanted to move the music. But at some point, I think because you and I slept the latest and we were just still listening to the same playlist at like 4 in the morning. I don't know, we were just discussing about the song and I could hear each part, each instrument that was involved in the song. And it was such an intimate and very, very different way of seeing music because you don't just see it for maybe how it is superficially. You like kind of gut it out. You see the insides of how this was made and you feel every little part. And to realize that each of those beautifully made, intricate little parts are what compose this marvelous and magnificent body of music that enters our ears and into our souls. It's just amazing. Music is magic. It's magic.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, tune in again next week for another magic carpet ride with me and Mikey. You can find more of our episodes and show notes on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Please also make sure to check out our Instagram page at We Are Wildseed for announcements, episode highlights, and other fun things that we want to share with you. See you again soon. Wild Seed!
Wow, see!